I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jesse.
We're Cannabis School. Having cannabis-infused conversations
with everyday people,
cannabis companies,
celebrities,
and your mom.
Welcome to the sesh.
Dude, it made me realize so much. So you're close to Kim. I could text you all day, and yeah, that makes total sense, because there are times I call you and I'm like, I wonder if I'm bothering him. And I'm like, no, he's an octagon. He doesn't fucking care. And then we start talking, and I can tell about like a little way through, I'm like, I'm just rambling. And you're just like, yeah, we'll have conversation. And I can tell you're just like, I got to get shit done. And I'm like, oh man, now I realize that. And I'm like, dude, whenever if
it depends on the time. Sometimes I really don't mind.
No.
Sometimes I don't think, and then I'm like, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I've got to go, but I don't, like, we're still talking. I'm going to let him finish, like, whatever thought and train and do that. And then I'll just go in a bit.
Here's what I want you to start being able to do with me. And this is really good. This is great understanding this brand. We are going to get, we're not going to fight anymore. I guarantee it, dude. We're not going to fight anymore, because I understand now more, because I was treating you as if you were an octagon. And this is why I say those things, because the perception of what we think we are as opposed to the behaviors that we show are completely different. And so you do desire all these things, but one of the things that's hard for you, you've gotten better at it, but getting in front of a large group of people, that can be a little nerve-wracking. For me,
for sure,
I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything at all. I'd be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, see, to me, it's like,
it takes a while.
Even like the fucking state thing. And I'm like, this is a Zoom meeting talking about
that's
cannabis.
Okay. But that's okay, man, because here's the thing too, man, and I'll be exact and short with this.
Okay, I'm listening.
The fact that I know that you value time so much,
it just stresses me out. I think
that's funny though, because but that's okay. Dude, that's not something that is bad.
No,
it's just, is that gone?
No, but
for
a sesh one, what do you want to smoke for the sesh?
Well, let's keep going on this, and we can mix a little bit of. Or I mean, I don't want to waste that.
No, I figured we'd smoke it, but I want to toss in some of this too.
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be a good combo.
If we get to that, okay. All right, continue. Sorry, failist.
So
my back's been sore, so I just.
No, dude, you're good. You're good. You know what? Why don't I finish that off? Why don't you use the venti and get the other one in you right now? Because you can do that and not become fucking inebriated.
That's true.
That would be a good one. So, anyways, knowing that how much you value time, it helps me to understand. It makes me not regret, but keeps me now aware of it. So this is what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to text you. Unless it's just a really cool idea and I need to talk to you, I'm just going to call you straight up. But I know you do, dude. I'm not saying that. But there are times when it's not a good time. Right?
Most of those now have been figured out, because I figured usually it was when I was editing, because I couldn't edit and talk at the same time.
No. And I actually appreciate that, because you've done that. It's helped me to structure where I don't talk to anybody during that time. That's work time. And so now I don't work in my room. Yeah. I don't work from my bed. I work out in the living room in my giant fucking chair. And I just work there. I won't work anywhere else. I did it on the table. Yeah. Didn't get as much done. Because my mind has now attached the heuristic to the chair. Yeah. So it's cool. It's a good anchor.
I find, I'm way more effective when I go sit down at my desk in my office. And I sit there and I work, because then I go, okay, this is my work spot. But when I was hurting, I'd find that I would send emails on the couch sometimes, just because it hurt so bad. But like,
you can give yourself exceptions, but you still won't be as productive.
No,
you just won't. You can't.
Yeah, I love doing work in there, but now that I figured it out, and most of it is my editing time, I can't really be productive and edit, because I can't listen to you and listen to the show or do that.
No, totally.
So that's been my only issue. But then now that I text edit, it's been I can actually edit, because I can read and listen to you, because I'm like,
oh yeah,
where do I need to cut? Okay, here's a gap. That's this many seconds.
Well, here's the thing for me. So since you know that it's not that I don't value time, is that
have no concept of time.
I don't care about it's not real to me because it's going to happen anyways. It's a natural order of chaos. The sun's going to come either way. The moon's going to come either way. I can't do anything about that. So it's me disassociate. This is something I've learned recently about myself. So what I do though is I care deeply about other people and their feelings. I'm a very emotional guy. So, but that's part of my behaviors, and I know why. A lot of it stem from childhood of why I need this constant need for approval. But now I know I don't need that, so I've been doing a lot better mentally for myself.
Yeah, because you're not seeking that.
But for you, because time is so important, you feel bad when you're not able to do stuff for other people. When you're not, like, this makes sense. Like when we worked, this always comes to my mind, like, and I felt bad because when we did Bennett's thing, your face showed like, honestly, the only other time I've ever seen that face is like in World War II movies when the Germans are coming and they're out of bullets. Like you're just like, like you just get
It just felt like failure on the very first attempt.
But I always go, there's always another way. Like I don't let those things that are circumstantial. My belief is that my time spent connecting with others and growing with others. You get the alcohol, aren't you? Yep. Fuck.
I'm not using this.
Gross. You got to let it dry.
I gotta figure holding that out because that's gonna be horrible. Yeah.
Dude, why don't you go get? Well, let's just smoke it. But anyways, dude, to wrap that up, and we'll get right into our show. Thank you, because now I understand you more. I'm going to send you a couple of different shapes. That's super common, though, man. I don't want you to think like I was thinking you were cheating or anything. But
no, it's just
right there.
We answer what we think, and
well, because it's what we want. You know how many times I tested and I got circle?
A lot.
5 times until Kim
Holy
goes.
Shit.
Kim's like,
she's like, you're not a circle.
You're not a circle.
That's
She's
hilarious.
like, you are not a circle.
Huh.
And I was like, all right, I'll take it again. And when I took it again and then I read it and I was like, that makes sense. So it just makes me understand you so much more. And if you don't mind, I'm going to help guide you in certain ways for you to feel like you're more in control of everything in your situations, including your conversations. This is what helps me more. When I understand others, then I go, oh shit, I do and say things that probably fucking infuriate you. And it's not because you don't understand how I'm coming, because I don't understand what you prefer and how to communicate. There's easy ways that I can turn it around and going, don't use that word. Use this word.
Most of the time, the words don't bother me because it's like taking offense to a sound. And most of the time, the word is just another phrase for another similar word. And those can be interchangeable, like pretty simply.
But it also does, it does count.
You can't change
your linguistics paired with your tone have to be in sync. So if you say something such as, hey, you want to go to the store? Or do you want to go to the store? Right? Now it's totally different. It's like, fuck you. And the other one's like, hey, I got an idea. Right? As opposed to being able to list things out. It's going to take nutmeg. It's going to take cinnamon. It's going to take sugar. So when I'm listing things out, these are the tones. I keep asking, but I that's another thing. You really, anyways, I'm not going to go too much farther than that. What do you do for hobbies, man?
Everything.
No. But like, what do you do? What's one of the things
Nothing
that you just
right
like enjoy? I know you can't longboard, which you loved, and that last wreck kind of fucked you up.
Motorcycles, longboarding, snowboarding.
Okay.
I loved archery, but I feel like I don't have the great spot for it right now.
Dude, right when we we're going to get passes to Jake's Archery down the road.
Oh yeah, there's one real close.
Yeah, super close. So we're going to get passes to there. The other thing,
I want to get compound bows with the sights.
Oh yeah, I want to learn those.
Emily's dad has that. He has this little goblin. He's like that tall, that big, with a target on his center. He sets that out in his backyard. Nothing behind it but a brick wall. And he shoots at that. And he puts it in tiny little target. Like he is really
his
accurate.
grouping?
Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit. If we could do that Like, that would be insane.
Yeah, dude, totally. Like, but knowing that, dude. Okay, so last thing before we go into it, and this is something I really want you to think deeply about for the rest of this week. When rectangles do not have their hobby and they're not doing it frequently, and others don't respect their time, they become out of balance. And that's when you find that you feel down, that you feel unproductive. So, and this that doctor I worked with over there at that place, why can't, the other thing is you guys are research whores.
Yeah.
You love to research everything. You will research a product up and down. That makes sense after our conversations about Beamers and all. And I'm just like, puts gas car goes.
Yeah,
but you're like, well, blah, blah, blah,
I
blah,
do,
blah, blah.
I do crazy in-depth research on
makes sense.
everything for him.
That makes sense.
So,
That
but it's like
makes
everything
sense.
I buy, like our washer and dryer is like the top consumer reported rated ones because I had spent forever, because I'm like, I've replaced this shit so many times. I've been here maybe 10 years. I've replaced fucking 3 times on my goddamn washer.
You
At
know,
least 2 fucking dryers.
You know how I bought our washers?
Use half the time.
No.
No?
That looks cool. Let's get that.
Yeah. See,
I ain't give a fuck.
I'm like, I hate paying for shit all the time. And I hate when it breaks. So then I'm like, I just want good stuff that lasts.
Dude, that washer,
I want good quality.
the washer and dryer stuff we've had that since Max was 3.
That's fantastic.
10
though.
years.
Yeah.
And it's still going.
My mom's is a Maytag one from when they
I
built.
think mine's a Maytag.
They built the home on Grandview.
Yeah.
That is 20 years plus.
Still
and it
going.
still works fantastic.
Isn't that crazy, dude? Like,
And I'm like, what in the world?
but that's the thing though, man. Like when you research and all those things, like, oh dude, man, precious time is definitely precious time.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that Pete used to do. He instilled into Site Smash with all of the workers. There was a clock on the wall and he had marked 2 spots. And he's like, if the big hand goes here to here, that is precious time. The only time you can take a personal call is in the hallway, out in the main hallway, not in the office. And dude, they got so much shit done. So much shit done. So, you know what I would do is block out certain things and invite me on your calendar and mark it precious time so I know that I shouldn't disturb you. Now, the reason why you kept going, dude, no, your belief in relationships is that you don't give yourself to everyone. When you said that, when you're like, I was smiling because I'm like, dude, you treat close relationships and that's it. You don't want to get to, you're very untrusting of people, and rightfully so. And a lot of things have happened in your life because of that. And so you're really, really cautious, but you've always been a cautious person.
I still love and accept and treat everyone the same.
Right.
As far as like they're the same equal person, I value them the same, but like my relationship and my connection to certain people is deeper, and so they will always have priority on my time.
But the
Because
thing
that's
is,
who I value them.
but if we value you more, we value the way that you like to be valued. It changes.
Yeah, but if I don't know how I like to be valued,
I do.
how can I communicate that to other people?
So
you know?
one of the great things about this system is that I just tell people what I prefer. So when I tell people, I'm like, hey, I have a tendency to talk too much. I literally say that in every networking meeting now. And they go, and I'll stop myself. I'm like, hey, am I talking too much? Because I'm now more self-aware of that.
Yeah. Well, if you understand how you work and navigate, because the thing is, honestly, there's things that I found in every shape that it was. You know, hey, here's this shape.
Of
Okay,
course.
cool. Yeah, I can see some of me in that.
Of course.
Hey, here's this shape. Okay, yeah, I can see some of me in that. You know, but again, it's always like, it's like every other test I take. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like a horoscope. You're gonna feel this way. Don't do this today. Okay, cool. That's great. Like, I won't, because that makes sense. You know, people, that's probably a smart thing to do.
So that's what I thought when I first had it. And then as I started to go through it, it wasn't that way at all. It started to be able to look at like, where are some of the things. So I'll just point out just a couple of things real quick. Where's mine? So I don't want it to be like where you're like, oh yeah, you know, that's about me. But here's some of the things. So like, you ever see me to be a little bit controlling of things? I can be controlling, right?
Yeah.
Critical.
Okay.
Competitive. I am very competitive. I'm blunt. I'm bossy sometimes. High expectations. Dramatic, know-it-all, complaining, needs to be right, judgmental, jealous, offended easily.
Is that in your down negative states?
That's
or?
when I'm in a fear state. Okay. Whenever I'm doing these things, you know I'm in a fear state. So you don't call it like, what's your fear state? You're just going, dude, you okay right now? Take some perspective. And I'll be like, fuck. And that's why I'll usually stop. But I can get caught into...
I've realized that a lot of our arguments and frustrations have come from fears.
Yeah, but the reason why is I don't understand you, because I believed, because you've taken it so many times, I was treating you as thought that it was okay. That's why.
Yeah.
Not because I read something. It's because I understand what octagons are like. And so there was no opposition. So I'm like, oh, I'm okay. We're on the right page. And I just kept talking. Now, yeah. Learner. Intelligence. You value intelligence and experiences, freedom, using their talents, core desires, pursue all of their interests and learn all they can. Talents, being good at everything. Core fear, failure, loss of time. Undervalues, vulnerability, restrictions, emotions. Not like you don't, but I'll get to that. Weaknesses, selfishness, opinionated, needs, validation, appreciation, support for their interests. Okay, that's huge. So here's in a clarity state, you're a high achiever, you're smart, that's very true, you're organized, very organized, motivated. Dude, every day you're like, I figured out how to get my whole day going. Strategic, you plan out your day. Neat, proper, careful, wise, frugal. Oh yeah. Good with money, you can be. Good with friends, you're awesome with friends. Adventurous, dude. You get on longboards, I'm like, what, fucking psycho. Passionate, good at everything. Good at everything meaning you can learn things quickly and apply them. Now, here's in a fear state: attention-seeking, self-centered, emotional, dramatic, moody, materialistic, high maintenance, unrealistic, bad with budgets, angry, defensive, protective. So those, when you start, yeah, right? So when you're doing these things, like when you're going back and forth and you're just like, fuck, like when you're like, I'm pissed, but I don't know why. So what I do to myself is I go, all right, Jess, what fear state are you in right now? And I because I have a photographic memory, I go, oh, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And then what I do is I stop myself and I give myself a pause and I go, wait, is this because you can't control it? Or are you gonna lose something? Or are you going to be a failure? And when you said failure with Bennett, that's why I smiled again, because I'm like, oh, your core fear is failure. No wonder why you look like the Nazis were coming at you and you ran out of bullets, because that to you is worse than having to face the music. And that's why we're such a good pair on that, because I just went, oh yeah, dude, we hit a snag. It's going to be about an hour. And they're like, all right, we'll go get some pizza. Cool, see you later.
Yeah, that worked out great, because I was freaking the fuck out on the outside and the inside. So,
but you can see that when dramatic, moody, materialistic, you become materialistic when you don't feel okay. You will buy things, you will do things, even though you're
I buy random shit that I don't need.
Right.
And then usually that's when when I'm walking around or I have time, because then I think about it and I'm like, I don't need this. So, and I put it back because I'm like, but I have that thing and I'm like, why am I doing this right now?
But see, you're doing something right there. You're deducing down exactly, is this a fear or am I in a clarity state? So when you're in a clarity state, you just go over here and just saying, okay, you know what? You take stock of it every day going, what points of my day did I have clarity? And you start looking at it. When you have ultimate clarity is when you're able to be in an argument and you realize that the other person needs something and you go, fuck. And then you just start asking questions. Hey, when I said this, did this make you feel like this? And they go, yes. Oh, I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
And then it changes everything. So I'm going to share something, because that just, dude, your face, like I was like, oh shit, dude, I hit it. What to do in a relationship with a rectangle. Rectangles are loyal, responsible, caring people in relationships. They often are they are often givers, but their love language is acts of service. So they often need physical touch too. They show their love by getting things done for you. They struggle with words and expressing emotion. They don't enjoy conflict and would rather avoid it. But if you fight with them, they will defend themselves. They can forgive and let things go fast, though, especially with a sincere apology. Rectangles are very logical and practical. That's why I was like, fuck, how come I didn't see that before? But sometimes are not very socially connected. Some rectangles are even on the autism spectrum. You're not. They crave being in relationships, but can have an avoidant attachment style and needs their freedom too. To make relationships with the rectangle work, you are going to have to give them lots of time on their own to feel independent, to do their own things. You will need to understand their need for their hobbies and not feel jealous of the time they spend there. You will need to be patient listener and open to their opinions and ideas. This makes them feel valued. Now, this is going to be crazy, and this is awesome, because then you're going to be like, fuck. What not to do in a relationship with a rectangle. Don't waste money. Don't be controlling or insist on things being your way. They will push back and want their way. And no one will win in a power struggle. Don't get offended when they speak their mind. Rectangles are quick to say what they think. And this can offend people, except octagons. We have extremely thick skin. It says have thick skin. I love how she just calls out, don't mess up their systems or move their tools or things. They need their organization as it is. Right? Don't be surprised when they would rather stay at home than go out. Don't push them to go out and party or social to events if they don't feel up to it. Make a deal or strike a balance if you are a social shape. Don't push them to decide anything before they are ready. They are slow decision makers and must research and think it through before making a choice. Don't be inconsiderate, dishonest, or disloyal. They would rather hear the truth, even if it might make them feel bad.
Yeah.
That's you, dude.
Yeah.
It even talks about how to raise them.
Oh no, that was way more spot on like almost every single thing than any of the others have been.
So here's the crazy thing. You are actually compatible with her. She's a cross. And what I would suggest doing, because this is great, dude. So what you're experiencing right now is exactly what I experienced when Kim went through this with me. You are able to understand exactly where you start fitting in this world, and you're going, fuck, oh, fuck. And so what you do, you go, oh, well, I got all this shit. What the fuck do I do with it? Well, one, start being open with people about it. Hey, Alec, you said this thing really fucking bothers me, and here's why. This is my bullshit. I just want you to know that I'm not mad at you. I'm just frustrated because it's not my way, but I'm working on it. My wife still, like, anytime I get a little upset, she goes, ha! Fucking caught you, you fucking liar. This doesn't work. And I want to get mad and I want to fight back. And I'm like, isn't it interesting that when I'm displaying human traits, you all of a sudden think that I got caught?
Well, it's just because you go, I never get mad anymore. So that's probably all.
And that's what the thing I said.
So she's
I
like, well, I caught you.
And I changed it. And I said,
Yeah.
I rarely get mad, but I'm able to self-correct way faster.
That's what emotional intelligence is, I think, is realizing and being able to recognize when we're in a fearful state and going, hey, how do I get back to normal?
Her new book just came out. She's got a bunch of copies sent to my house. I'm going to give you one. And instead of reading it like I'm just going to absorb something, because this is typically how people treat personality stuff. This is not personality stuff. It's all behavior. And it's created... Kim's a smart fucking woman, dude. She knows things. Like, one of the really... I mean, it's crazy. I just described your childhood and your adolescence into adulthood, into your relationship. That was crazy, right? That was in 2 paragraphs. This is the craziest one, dude. This is what you must work on. They need to watch out for getting into ego, around their intelligence and not making others feel stupid. They tend to correct people if they say something wrong. Rectangles need to let people be wrong and do things wrong, or at least ask permission before they give advice or suggestions. I have that problem. Ask the person if they are open to a suggestion or just want to do it their own way. They must make sure that they don't tell others what they think if it wasn't asked for.
I really had to work on that with Emily because I've always been the try and fix it.
I know you are. But I've noticed...
it's like so hard to just...
Do you know why you do that?
Listen.
Because...
I want to help. I want to help fix everyone's problems.
You care about them.
Yeah. If I didn't, I wouldn't give a shit.
Dude, I'm that guy in the gym that will annoy somebody because I'll see that they're doing something and I can help them, and I'll go over and give them unsolicited advice. For rectangles, we give unsolicited advice nonstop. But the other thing is, we know a lot of shit. We have crazy memories. Like when I talk to McLean,
insane memory.
When I talk to McLean goes, "Oh yeah, blah 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 blah." He could describe it, and I'm like, "Cool. How far back can you go?" And he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "I can go back to 4. I remember shitting in my pants, and I had this underwear. It was striped turquoise, sky blue, and an orange color and white, and they went across. This is the 80s. This is like 82, 3, and I shit my pants, and I still remember the feel because it wasn't a squish. It was a hard log and came out, and it pushed my shorts like a tail.
Oh, man.
And I remember I was in my parents' room, and we only had this tiny little place on 9th by BYU where we live.
Oh, damn.
Tiny little house. It's still
Down
there
by
to
the
this
creamery?
day. Yeah, really close to the creamery. You
That's
could walk
hilarious.
there. And I was so scared because I knew my parents were going to get mad at me.
Yeah.
I didn't even speak at that time. I didn't speak until I was 5, like full
Really?
sentences. Yep.
Okay. Full sentences, though.
Yeah, delayed
So
speech.
little stuff, though.
Mm-hmm. And, dude, I can...
Selective mutism?
No, I didn't have selective mutism. That was my daughter.
Yeah, no. You just said you didn't speak till 4, so I wondered if you had any...
I spoke a mix of like Spanish and English, but
just spotted.
I understood everything. But my parents, they could talk to me. I just couldn't speak, so I was slow to speaking. But it's also the same with like my intelligence, because when I was in high school, I was a fucking idiot. Like I felt like I was too. I didn't apply myself. Oh no, dude, I was bad. Like everybody thought I had special needs, so I was in special needs classes.
Really?
Yeah, for English and
Holy
math.
shit.
Yeah, dude, I didn't know how to.
I never would have guessed.
No. But it was, and I just accepted that, dude, for like 12 years.
But that's who you were.
Yeah, it was just who I was. And then as things started to go, right, when they started to go through it, like I just felt like this is just my place. I remember that whole idea I talk about, like kind of Kawasaki talks about, there's entrepreneurs and employees.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing where I was just like, well, I'm an employee. So when I got out of the Navy, my dreams were crushed. Yeah. And I'm like, well, at least what I thought would be my dream. But that was crushed, and I feel like I'm fucking melting.
Sinking into the chaos.
Dude, it's just, I wish I was lighter at that point. Fucking still 180 pounds, but I'm like at a 29 waist now. But
Bro,
anyway,
you're fucking slim.
Yeah, dude, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm still pretty decent size. But now to go back to it, dude, like, fuck, where was I? I haven't been smoking. That's what the problem is.
No, but it's also probably almost gone, so you might need to load another bowl.
That's cool.
Yeah,
dude, I mean, it's... But anyways, to digress, and that's part of the issue with octagons, is that we have a tendency to ramble. And so what's really cool, dude, is that because I know that, I am self-aware of myself, all you have to do is this. Hey, dude, you're kind of rambling for a little bit. And I'll say, oh, my bad. It would be
but
this.
Sometimes I love the rambles.
Oh, I do.
Because we get into really funny, weird shit.
But I mean, but at the same time, there are times where I'm talking about something that is completely ridiculous. And that's how you know that my mind, how it works, dude. It is And that's why I love cannabis.
Mine's random and weird too. You just don't hear all of them.
No, mine.
Emily does because she's here sometimes, and then I'm like, I'll say something. She's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Welcome to random shit that pops into Brandon's head," like, because she'll be like,
You
years
should
ago
share
or
that
whatever,
with
she'd
me.
be like, "Oh, you should we should talk more." Okay, well, what do you want to talk about? I don't know. What's going on in your mind? I don't know. Like, this is what just popped in. Like, it's whatever random shit pops into my head at that second.
That's so fucking funny. So one of the craziest things about 12 Shapes is that there's a compatibility. Dude, this woman, and she is a...
Oh, it would make sense.
oh, dude, but it's so cool because you know what?
So here's the problem.
Okay.
I love the idea of the system, the concept that
It's just a
but
tool.
again,
though. It's just a tool.
yes, but how do you? The problem is that tool is available, but it's like going, hey, here's this tool, but there's no real effective video or coach or person that's just there with it all the time. Because again, how many times have I taken different tests and it wasn't until we had a conversation, you're like, holy fuck, you're a rectangle. Like, what? That's never been on the board.
You know why? Because
That
you have to use it consciously.
So how do you have? But who's going to know how to use that consciously, and truly answer those without going, wait, is this like what my mind's thinking? Is it like versus like your true self versus and having someone who it's different because you know me. Versus like Kim has no idea who I am, and maybe over time because she's designed the system it's different.
What typically happens? Okay, so let me tell you what happens in that. Let me get another hit of this.
Because I'm like, that would be my struggle is then it's a great system if they know their true shape and it makes sense to them. But if they have a shape that they think they are and they're telling people, hey, this is how I navigate or work, but it's really not how they navigate or work, it doesn't really benefit them then.
No, it's not. I mean, the
Which
one thing is
sucks.
that it's not 100% accurate as far as the test is concerned. And the reason why is because of human error. I won't go into the science of axiology that it's backed on, but one of the things with 12 Shapes is that it's not like a Tony Robbins type thing or some type of seance within the self-help world that they will typically get into. What this does is it is a self-awareness tool. So what you do is you're constantly just go back and you read it every day, read it random times, learn more, and just be self-reflective. What I do, because I'm a very visual thinker, but the way I communicate is very auditory. And I used to think that I was a visual communicator.
Interesting. So you visualize it.
I visualize
you picture it.
But what I like coming to me is the words.
But in your head, you picture it.
But I can create anything in my head.
Yeah, because you have a fantastic imagination.
Right.
And a fantastic, yeah.
Just comes.
It's just how your creativity is like.
But I need to feel your words. And so I am a auditory kinesthetic.
Okay.
You know, all the stuff that we learn in NLP, I created
So you have
more
to
comprehensive.
hear and feel the words to create that.
Nah.
Because it has to pull you in. If you don't feel it, it's boring and dry. It's like reading a textbook.
Exactly right.
It's like sitting in class. But
if I had a teacher who was able to enunciate and being able to
animated and they bring you in
I
or
am
like
sucked in.
yeah, because like it's engaging and that's what you want. You don't want like
But with that said, though, even when that's my primary auditory then kinesthetic. Now, for other people, they may be a more of an audio digital or a visual. So olfactory would be the smell. If I use words like
use that
I was like, oh, something smells off. Like if I said that word and you're a very olfactory communicator, like scents really are strong with you, then I know that certain scents can repel you.
Yeah.
But if I'm a gustatory person, it's not necessarily what I eat. If going like, that's not my taste.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's sour.
Yeah.
If I hear those sayings, then I know that they go through that. If I heard that with that person for persuasion purposes, I'm going to be like, dude, I'm going to get some treats over there. Would you like some sour kids? Yeah. And they'd be like, dude, I love sour kids. It's those things, even treats, even foods, based off of the words that you're using, I can pinpoint what you like. And so I now start to work towards that. Now I have to turn this on I don't do it all the time, or I'd be manipulating the fuck out of everybody all the time.
Yeah.
I actually created an assessment for this. I'll give it to you. It's really cool.
On if you're manipulating people or not?
Know how to know which kind of communicator you are.
Oh, okay.
And then I also have another system that I heard Andrew Bustamante or something like that. He's a CIA guy. He talked about rice. These are the 4 main motivators that humans go after.
Yeah, I love rice.
And it's reward, reward, ideology, coercion, and ego. So there are 4 main motivators that we have as individuals, as humans, that motivate us. The reason why I was so interested is that Andrew I'm going to fucking butcher his last name. But anyways, he talks about that's what the CIA operatives use in order to be able to get an asset. So they understand which one is your primary motivator.
Yeah.
And then they press on it to get to the 3 different types of person you are. You're public, you're private, and you're it's your public, your private, and your secret life.
Yeah.
Your secret life is your
who you are at
kinks and
home, who you are at with your family, and then who you are on like your
inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
To
This is-
yourself.
This is you on incognito mode, right?
Yep. When no
Nobody
one else
can
is
see
around,
you.
this is what your incognito browser.
Right.
This is what private browsing mode. Of
You're
you
putting
is.
a neck around
Yeah.
it. You're putting something around your neck. You're choking yourself, because this is how you get off. But the thing is like when you're able to use... Dude, I was joking. Oh, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I go too far sometimes. But one of the craziest things, dude, is that's why I'm so passionate about understanding this, because once I understand the behaviors of the individual, I understand what reward system is more towards them and what communication style they are.
Well, you just understand them, and you understand how to talk to them, because that's how they like to be talked to.
And you can turn anybody into your friend, or you can teach them what to do. That's where I started that's why I was so successful over there at Rising Health, because I was teaching them. I was like, there's no closing line that's going to get you the win. So all I would start doing with them, I said, there's 2 lines that you're going to do, and I've used, and it's, what would you like me to do next? Or if you make a connection going, how do you think we should do?
Yeah, how do you think we should move forward?
Yeah. What do you think we should do next? Oh, no, I say, what do you think we should do next? Because I never say forward, because that's business speak. So what do you think we should do next? Kind of like, we jump to this rock.
Simple.
How do we jump to this rock? And they go, well, just fucking jump there. Okay, cool. And that's usually when clients, that's why I was able to get these random ass clients. And that was the line that always helped them. And they would say, oh, well, I want you to build me a proposal. It needs to be this. And then when they would come back with an objection in price, they'd go, 10,000 is too much a month, Jess. I can't pay that one. What about 10,000 is really difficult for you to be able to go behind? Oh, my budgets don't get there. Okay, so you're more concerned that you won't have operational budgets to be able to keep going for the rest of the year. Okay, so 10,000 is not going to work. What would work? He goes, not that. So I'm like, okay. And I knew a number of where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, if I did this, I'm going to say it's this. Would you like me to send an invoice? That's all I would say. And the guy said, yeah, I'll go with that. So I went from 10,000 for a project down to 5,000. I was expecting 3.
But you were happy getting 5, yeah.
But the way that I was able to go about it is that I had to place it as they were in control the entire time. If they make the decision, I don't have to.
Well, every buyer wants to feel like they're in control.
But they don't get that opportunity. It's always at the end where they feel kind of gross.
Yeah.
Going, I just got swindled.
Oh, yeah. How many times have you bought something or gone to do it and then it's like,
Well, it's the same thing like on communication. Like we tend to trust things that we see right away. Or if we hear something, we react to it. And I'm human, even though I know all this shit, I still do that. Like we had a fight a while ago. It lasted a whole 10 minutes and then it was done. That's another thing that both of our shapes are. We're super forgiving people. Like you could wrong me badly.
Yeah.
And I will let it go.
Well, I have had that happen. There's friends that I brought back into life after but a very sincere, realistic apology. Because prior to that, he had sent a apology and I was like, fuck that. That's not an apology.
Isn't that funny what I
No.
read to you, that apologies are accepted only if they're sincere? That's exactly what she wrote.
Well, and it was like being truthful and honest is really important.
Yep.
And I was sitting with my dad yesterday and he was like, it was really interesting raising Brandon. He would never lie. He would always go, he wouldn't tell you he might not tell you something, but he would never lie. And I was like, I hate lying. I would much rather tell someone something than just fucking lie about it.
You know why?
No.
Because you don't give connection to anybody, buddy. You give it sparingly. Why would you lie to ruin that?
Yeah.
Subconsciously, you won't do it, dude. It's
and
literally
everyone
like
who is in my
RoboCop.
circle, like,
Yep.
they are like in there, and they
Yeah.
know that. Every single one of them knows I love them, and I would do whatever for them.
See that? I mean, it makes more sense, dude. Like, it's.
But it's not hard to get in there. I feel like it's not hard for me to like connect with someone.
No. That's
And if-
not
and
to
if
say
they're
that.
real in that, like but you're right. There's very few who know Brandon.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally, dude.
Yeah. No.
And that makes sense, and that's why, you know, I value your friendship above of others, because I know without a doubt you will not burn me. You will help me no matter what. If I asked you for something and you had the ability to, no doubt.
Always.
And I would always do that for you. That's part of my nature. You know, the crazy thing, the logical side makes sense on the religion side too. It totally does. And for me, it makes total sense because
It's emotional side.
it's very much what. That's why our good friend who left. That's why he's
But
emotional
that's what
still.
makes sense, because even, you know, I talk about it. Religion is based on feeling, and emotion is feeling, and so it makes 100% sense that there would be feeling-based things all around that.
So
Like,
the best way to approach it, man, and just knowing that about you, and this is beautiful, dude. What I love about it is that now I don't look at it as you're trying to prove to me that there is no God or anything like that.
no, because
You're
I
just,
have no knowledge of it.
but that's exactly what, because you have faith in what you can see, touch, and feel, and that's totally understand. And here right away, as
Or research. If I can research and find proof around something, that's great. But it's the feeling, and I'm like,
You want me to read it again?
I can't base those on feelings. And I'm like,
that's what's beautiful about
but
you, bro.
I love that people can, because I
because
see
you
that
appreciate people.
there's value for them. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you, my mom. Like I see people who gain so much immense value from it, but that's not there for me.
But dude, that's the thing too, is and this, I mean, let's just be honest with it, right? You know, way that you knew a lot of people that you grew up around were probably in very similar families. The term brainwash is very, very upsetting to you, and conformity, do what we tell you to do, not having the freedom to explore what you think.
Yeah, well, because it's always the freedom. It's I like.
Wow, dude.
We live in America. It's supposed to be the freedom, and then it's even here in the country. I'm very frustrated with the freedoms that are stripped away. That it's like, okay, well, none of this is constitutional. Half this shit shouldn't be allowed. Like, we should have
Yeah,
these
it's been
same.
going on for a long time.
And so, yeah, for me, freedom is huge, and I am really frustrated around those types of things. But
But no, I'm talking like freedom, like on this, like here's freedom for you. Living off the grid, having a community out in the middle of nowhere, producing all your own stuff. Me. I would like to be in the city. I like to talk to people. I'm always interacting with everybody around me. And so it's like, it's so cool because, dude, like we really do. Like, we need to go. Okay, so one, we're making a pact now. Everybody gets to hear it. We're going camping. We're going camping together as families. And the reason why is because I want to learn those things that what you appreciate so much. I know why you love nature so much. I mean, it's not that I don't appreciate it. It just doesn't come to my mind. It's not a zenful place. My zen is Spotify and a punching bag. That's my place.
my zen was also motorcycle.
Oh, dude.
Curving through that,
That's
but
another,
that hasn't.
we
been
have to
zen
get
for
you a
me. So-
motorcycle this summer. You have to have one.
Oh yeah,
And
but
you just have to
that's
be
why
careful.
like longboarding was hard, because when that was my therapy, because motorcycle riding for me was like therapy, and then when I didn't have that anymore, that was crazy hard. So longboarding became this like, all right, well, this is what I'll do, because I've been doing it for 20 years, and it's
Dude.
still this enjoyment of like a flow. And so when I fucked up my knee and I couldn't board, then it was like, what the hell do I do? I can't really and I don't like just walking. I don't want to just go on a walk around the neighborhood. I'd go hike in nature. Like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, I love walking in nature, but like walking around a neighborhood, what do I want to see? A sidewalk, someone's house, like a mailbox? I don't give a shit.
But for me, though, like when you describe that, that's heaven to me because when I go for a walk, I think. And I get all the, because my brain is just constantly moving. When I'm moving, that's why I love going to work out.
Yeah.
Because I'm moving to the point where my brain slows down. That's why cannabis is so, as much like my wife had asked me, she's just like, look, you're smoking like a lot and I'm kind of concerned. And it's not without merit, dude. Like it gets a little sore in my upper lungs. And I'm like, yeah, I got to take a break off of the puff. And it's so hard to get away from it. So I'm moving away from flower as much, not all the time, but still flower first. But it helps my brain to slow down so that I can think. Yeah. Because the way I see your ideas, dude, and this just because I'm such a visual person. Do you remember The Matrix when he's like, we need guns? And then all of a sudden these aisles and shit, and they're all organized based on caliber and all that. That's you, dude. You're that gun rack. You're just like, fuck, this is me, dude. Like, I just get shit done.
And then all of a sudden it's like everything unfolds and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that we can do this.
What are we doing, Brandon? Okay, well, we need to know where we're at. What's the place that we're attacking? Does anybody know anything about it? What year was it built at? Hey, somebody pull up some schematics of that one. Me. So where do you want me to go? And how many people have to die? All right. And then I run off. Even thinking about insurgency, dude. It's just like I would run off and
you're just gone,
kill everybody.
And I'm like walking through and stuff.
Dead bodies everywhere.
And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta speed up. He's like already killed everyone.
I know, and you would hear him.
He's like, Gattaca!
Yeah, everybody dead. Come on in.
And then you're just like, what the fuck? And it's just like, but that makes, can you see why certain things are attracted to me as they wouldn't be attracted to you? So here's the cool thing about it. Once you understand other people's shapes, you start being able to find that you judge less about them because they know, like, certain individuals, no colors actually, but just certain types of individuals used to infuriate me.
Okay, yeah.
Infuriate me. Why? Because I had a negative interaction with one. And then I had a second and a third. And I'm like, what the? That's not cool.
Yeah.
So then I started to associate.
A generalization.
Then I started to associate a bias with them.
Yeah.
Everybody who is like that is going to act this way.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because people are probably, dude, he's thinking about colored people. He's thinking about Hispanics and lesbians, because they're all angry people and black people. No. Look, I'll be honest with you. It was morbidly obese people. Morbidly obese people. Like, I can get along with any denomination, any race, creed, but if you were over 400 pounds, I don't want to talk to you. Because I had met nothing but women who are that size, and they were fucking mean. They were vicious. Wow. And the way I took it at the time, because this is what I didn't understand about myself, is that they were attacking me as a person.
Yeah.
So it's like German Shepherds. I'm still skittish around them to this day because a German Shepherd almost killed me as a child.
Jesus.
And if it wouldn't have been for me just instinctively lifting my arm up, I wouldn't be here today.
Addie has that same thing. About was it a year or two after she got bit in the face by a dog? She was down in Texas taking birthday invitations to friends' houses, and a big Doberman pit bull mix jumped the fence.
Holy shit.
Jumped the fence and bit her. Knocked her down and bit her, and she's alive because her arm got pinned on her side, and so it didn't get her organs and stuff. That's why she's alive.
Wow.
Like, it's insane just... But I can understand the fear. So not Dobermans.
German Shepherds.
German Shepherds.
I'm
give you
okay
this,
now.
Yeah, but there's still like this back of your mind apprehension, I'm sure, that's like subconscious.
And that's some of the things that understanding, you're subconscious because you're also talking about neural pathways and why, medications such as ketamine are so effective for these ones, because when that happens, it's almost like there's a stop. Something so traumatic happened in the brain. This is just the basic way. This is not actually how it works, but I'm explaining it to a 5-year-old.
In a dummy level, yeah. You can go research it if you want.
But it's like a traffic jam all of a sudden. So at that moment, you notice how there are certain memories that like flashbacks and stuff like that. What can happen is that horrible traumatic event, and this can be emotional, physical, whatever, right?
Jesus Christ.
I was loud.
That was massively loud.
It almost sounded like a fart.
Yeah.
It
I was like, holy cow.
But I almost got thrown off base. Fucking hell. Oh, fucking hell. The guy made me
don't
forget.
remember what you
I don't
were
know.
talking about.
Anyways, to go past all that, this is why I'm so passionate about those things, dude. And it's just, and I want to share it with everybody, dude. Like literally because I got certified as a coach in it because it transformed me, and I'm building out a podcast with the woman who created this one. So that's cool. We get it. We'll talk a lot about these things on there.
Do you have a link yet?
No. I need your help on that to get this all set up because I am horrible at that.
Do that after this
Yeah.
because your episode on Happier Headspace comes out, and I don't have a link to put in there for you.
Oh.
So we should get it so I can at least throw a link in, and then as you put
let's just set
episodes
it
in
up.
and that,
Okay.
it will be there.
Okay. Yeah, but you know, the thing that's so great about it is that the reason why I get so passionate, dude, is because I learned so much about myself, about why I perceive things the way I do. To take it back and why it makes sense why I just said that. When we had our argument, I was believing that you were trying to tell me to do something, but you weren't. You were trying to tell me, well, what research backs it up? Because you value the data. And I value the data too, but at the moment, I became emotional and I let it get the hold of me. And you didn't understand why I was getting upset. And then you got upset because you don't wrong me. So you know how it was. Like, you won't win in that power struggle.
Yeah.
You'll want to fight forever, right?
Well,
And it's not, but
that's
you
what
hate
I've been,
fighting.
I hate it. I really do.
I enjoy
what-
a good confrontation.
One thing that Emily said recently that kind of, I didn't think I did. She was like, you don't always do this, but one thing I really like about you as a partner is you have the ability to take a step back.
Because you do not like conflict at all, which
but
is so
in
good.
an argument, like to
Yeah.
take a step back. And I was like, I don't always feel like I do, but
See-
it's good that sometimes you feel like I do.
So you do. So this is really funny. We had an argument on the phone. We have arguments all the time, but not all the
Not
time.
like
I would
this.
say like twice a year. We have 2 arguments a year. We're only warranted up to that one. If there's a third one, we have to put in a request.
Yeah, and then we have to go to couples therapy. We have to
Yeah.
write
then
all
there's-
these letters and stuff.
Well, I'm 45 now, so I'm going to have to see a proctologist for one of those colonoscopies.
You know what's cool? Amazon has these cameras. I'll just buy one and we'll do it at home.
That's love from that guy. No. You know what I'm going to have to say, Brandon? Normally I wouldn't have to say this, but no, sir, please stay away from my butthole. But dude, what's so cool that I know that now, because when we were having this argument, it started to get elevated and my voice started to get elevated. And Brandon has a shut-off mechanism. It's a fail-safe. He will disconnect, which is awesome, when you're able to disconnect and get a view of what's going on. And he has a great ability of doing that because he would rather go, wait a minute, am I being pissed off because I need to be pissed off? Or I don't want to be pissed off right now. I get the fuck away from this. And it's usually the latter.
I hate being angry. I hate that energy.
Yeah, totally. But you just don't like the energy from anybody. So it's hard.
Yeah.
So he hung up on me. Now, old Jesse, you don't hang up. You don't walk away from me. We're fucking figuring this shit out. And it was great because when he hung up on me, I'm all, that motherfucker. And then I was about to call him back and I laughed and I go, wait a minute. Why are you mad? And that's what this has done for me. So I go, why are you mad? I'm like, what fear state? You think you need to be right. You don't need to be right, Jesse. Okay.
But we
Call him
had a
back and
good
apologize.
discussion because you also thought I was coming from a different perspective, and you explained where your fear was coming from.
I did. But
And then I explained what was different and how it was perceived versus where I was coming from. And then we got on the same page and understood.
instantly.
Yeah. And it was like, hey, okay, we both understand. We see where this is. And now it makes sense. Like
See, but old me wouldn't have been able to do that. Old me would have responded very emotionally and would have been angry, not talk to you for a day. And when I talk to you saying, we're going to fucking fight this out until it's done. And the reason why is I grew up in a very conflicting childhood all throughout. I've known nothing but conflict. It sounds like I grew up in Beirut, but I didn't. It's just the way that my mind as a child, all the way to my adulthood, if you can call it that, all the way from there, I've had this constant need to be able to feel like there's going to be a conflict and I need to be ready to fight.
See, I was always small, and I grew up with Curtis and my dad. So Curtis got thrown around, hit, whatever, because he was argumentative. And so I learned that fighting, because I'm small, got your ass beat.
Yeah, and you didn't want to do that.
And that wasn't great. So what good did fighting really do? Yes, I will stand up for myself and the people I love, but most of the time, is it needed to have a fight? Like, I won't, you know.
But again, that goes towards behaviors and not necessarily personalities. I've learned over the last little while that personalities are surface level triggers or signs of who you are, but personalities change a lot. Behaviors can become ingrained and you can't pull them out.
Because it's habits and stuff that we do all the time.
Or it's a traumatic event that happened to you that shifted your approach, such as your daughter being bit.
Yeah.
It's changed her approach on a lot of things. And so she's different ever since that event.
Oh, yeah. Well, you think every single thing that we do in life changes, how we affect.
Yeah,
so
dude.
It's like, yesterday's events will probably affect something that I do today. And same with something that I do today will probably affect something that I do tomorrow because of an effect that it had. And it's like, it's really interesting because if we had something, it was like Addie was at school and she was like, she has a, we go to my mom's house on Sundays for dinner sometimes. She has these little cousins who are, Addie's almost 13. She's got cousins who are like 8 years old and they're boys and they're dicks. They're like, she'll be like, oh, they smacked me or they threw something at me. I'm like, so hit them back. Push them down. She's like, but they'll tell their dad. And I'm like, uh-huh. And you know who I am. You come tell me and I will talk to their parents because they know that you won't do it unless their kid did it first. And their kid does it every week. And that's the only reason why it's happening because you're trying to get it to stop. Like, you're not doing it intentionally. You're not, hurting them. You're just telling them to stop. You're pushing them back. You're doing this. And I was like, in the animal world, if a dog bites another dog, they'll bite them back. They're not going to go, oh, here, do it again. I'm sorry, let me turn over. No, they learn this is not acceptable. This is the boundary that I have set.
Well,
but if we don't set boundaries, people walk all over that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's even that it's allowing these other people to know that, like, it in those situations, if it was like, say this happened, this is like a random situation. Brandon and I are walking down the street, some unsavory people are coming, they're talking shit and they want to hurt us. First thing I'm going to tell Brandon, go get the cops. I'll be here. I'll deal with it because I am geared towards that. I'm more equipped for that. But the thing is, too, is that what's great part is that in that same scenario, Brandon would be like, dude, this isn't worth it. Let's just get out of here. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Like, hey, guys.
What's the logical thing, right? You're
honestly,
thinking that.
or I'd be like, hey, what the hell? Because usually it's emotional.
Exactly.
It's like, again, confrontation. Like, I went to a rave. And there was this guy, and I said something. I don't even remember what it was. Nothing. And the guy was black. And he instantly snapped and gets mad, gets in my face, and like, hey, Brand.
Whoa.
I was like, hey, man, what's going on?
What was he mad about?
He thought it was a racist thing. I don't know what it was. And I'm like, hey, man. I was like, listen, you are the same as me. I'm the same as you. There's no difference here.
Even race, dude, even race has been able to understand why people feel that way. It's not a victim mentality. Something happened to them where they feel triggered and it's scary to them. I feel for that. Because, as white as I am.
Hugged it out.
Yeah.
At the end, I was like, hey, man.
Because you're like that, though, dude? Yeah, that's why.
But that was it. And it was, so this, I met this guy. He's Polynesian. He's a big old poly guy. And he's always like, I went and met a couple of his friends over at a tattoo parlor and that. First time I met him and that, I talked to him for maybe 10 minutes and then I left. And I gave them all hugs. First time I met him, but that's
Yeah, that's
That's
me
who
too.
I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, oh, see, it's just the energy. Like it's how he is. But that's like, why bring negativity? Why bring anger if I don't have to? Like, I don't like existing in that. I went through divorce. I've lived in anger and anxiety and depression for fucking months.
And that's kind of something that I want you to kind of reflect on too, man, is that these aren't circumstances that are happening to you. It's what you're doing to react to them, because it's the same like why I understand why you have had such shitty experience with cops. Even that,
I try to be so polite to all of them because of it.
Well, dude, no, I mean, what we perceive as polite could be impolite to others. And so a lot of it deals with tonality. Tonality is huge in being able to convey something to somebody so they can go, oh, okay, I know where this is coming from. But it makes so much sense because, dude, like, you're like, I've been arrested a bunch of times. I've been in jail, but I'm like, I've been in handcuffs, but I've always been let go. I've never been divorced. I've been very blessed. I have a great marriage. I have had a wonderful, I've been with my wife for 21 years.
It's a long ass time.
Yeah, but it feels like a short amount of time. But again, like,
no, I mean, that's an accomplishment. That's fantastic.
But on the other side, it's my constant need for validation. That's what I know that. And it sounds like a needy thing, but when I say that, and going back to that horrible interaction where that guy was like, oh, he thought it was racist. It's this interaction that you've learned and that you're just like, okay, everybody's out to get me. And what was so awesome is that your energy just surpassed that. It's like that guy walking through that neighborhood in Illinois with a joint, and he got away through in one of the most violent neighborhoods in Chicago.
That's how I would do. If people are angry, I'd be like, hey, man,
want to smoke this out?
This. Like, tell me what's going on.
Problem.
Like, I'm sorry. Tell me, why are you frustrated?
There's some good kush.
Let's smoke about this.
Because kush mints.
Honestly, at the end of the day,
you'll enjoy it.
That's my solution. I'm frustrated. I'm emotional. I'm stressed. Okay, well, why the fuck am I this way? I need to go smoke about it and see why I'm like this, because this isn't normal for me. This isn't a normal state to go, oh, I'm like this. Well, why? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Simmer down. Go smoke something. And then I sit back and I'm like, oh, man.
But I've seen that.
This really is what it is. And I'm like, okay. Well,
that's so funny, dude.
Like, but it's introspection. Cannabis is given that like time to introspect and sit back and go like, hey.
That's why, dude, you need to get really fucking high and read this.
Oh, I will.
Multiple times. Like,
I will have to.
Here's something else, dude. Okay, so the best careers for you are researchers, professors, technical expert, web designers or coders, accounting, engineering, data analysts, science or math careers. Jobs where they can continue to learn and have fresh challenges.
See, that sounds terrible. I'd rather smoke pot for a living, educate people about it, talk about it, and, do stuff like that.
Researcher, professor.
And just continue to learn along the way on
data
everything
analyst.
that,
jobs
piques
continue.
my interest.
Yeah, dude, all of that just makes complete sense. Look, they
really
like to
funny.
work that requires independence, efficiency, and mechanical abilities. That's why you're good at like electrician shit. They are not good in positions where empathy, caring, emotional connection, flexibility, fast decision-making, or teamwork are required. You're good to work in a team, but you're great to that one. The emotional connection, dude, like I would never put you in a customer service role, ever. And the reason why is because it goes against your nature. It's not that you're a bad person. It's just like, I don't want to fucking do that. Like the worst job for Brandon to have is customer service.
Which is hilarious because almost every job that I have done has been customer facing. Like whether it's sales or other stuff.
That's why I think, now here's another phenomenon that happens with shapes. What you were as a child
can change.
Will change based upon circumstances.
Okay.
So your divorce, I remember after your divorce, you completely changed.
100%.
So that's what happened. That was your trigger point, and then all of a sudden, all these other things mattered.
Yeah, it went from, like, I was a dad, and I love being a dad, and I love playing with my kids and stuff, but, like, the time and the value, things changed, like, really,
Makes sense, doesn't it? That makes so much sense, because before, it was
very different.
Beamers and all sorts of stuff.
Very materialistic.
You see that? You were... Okay.
Well, but I wasn't in a good state either.
You weren't in a clarity state. So, dude, that is a fantastic thing that and realizing these things, dude, and this is the hard part because I don't like trying to come off as a know-it-all. It's just cool because it's like putting on my glasses and seeing the world differently, because everybody else sees it differently. But when I put those on and I can be selfless and I go, wait a minute, they may be acting a certain way. So when you started saying things and I was like, oh, you're a rectangle, and you're like, nah, and then I start telling you that shit and you're like, oh, fuck. Like,
yeah, no,
that's
a lot
pretty
of it was
crazy.
like, no, that's way more spot on. Because like the circle and stuff, there's,
But
like I
you're
said, there's similarities in all of them.
But because you love people, you want to love people, but you only want to love people that you trust.
yeah.
Makes sense?
Like, well, I love everyone as a human, but I don't
I'm
like
not
to
trying
let
to
them
say
into
that.
like my,
Emotional exchange
Yeah,
with Brandon.
that requires trust.
A lot of trust, and it's a trust and verify, again, research, right? That's why
Yeah.
the concept of marriage to you is null and vilified, because it's like that contractual agreement is bullshit, and here's why. And you would list out all the things, as I'm like, no, I'm fine with that. I'm married to my wife and I love that, and I love the symbology of that, and I would never break that trust, but because that's how I value it. And other people are, and you had a horrible experience your first marriage, and yeah, it's not that it would turn you off, it's just like logically going,
I mean, after
fuck?
that, yeah, it was like, I think one of the biggest things was having kids.
totally.
And I was like, I will never have another kid with another person, because the heartache and the pain and that of like having them move across the country or not seeing them all the time, like I would never want to go through that again or put another kid through that again.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do
Dude,
that again.
And I tell you, man, I mean, I've always respected that, but I know more now about you today than I have known in the last 10 years. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Like, you think about it, because now understanding that about you, I know that there are certain things, like if I say I'm going to be there at a certain time, I better let you know well ahead of time that I'm going to be late.
Yeah, I love that, because otherwise it's like that is probably one of my biggest pet peeves. Is
But see,
like
the thing is, you won't tell
punctuality.
people.
No.
You won't tell them what to do, because you're just assuming that the weight of the issue should be enough.
Often. Yeah.
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 So what's really cool is that you'll be able to understand it, but the real good part about it is just saying, hey, look, I value punctuality a lot. I'm setting it for this time. If you don't show up, it's going to piss me off.
It's just knowing, because I'm like, if I know that it's at a different time, hey, I'm going to be late, that's totally fine. He's going to be late. It's going to be later. Like, but it's when it's planned and then I'm like, fuck. All right, well, now it's 10. When is he going to show up? And then I'm like, fuck.
But
I
for
can't
me,
go do
I'm
these
like,
other things.
Like, because I get distracted, or I'm into something else, or I had a phone call, or
Yeah.
So here's what I can do now. What I can do, because this is what I can control. What I can control is knowing that about you. I have to be more aware of any time that we spend together when it's something that we do like this. If it's something like that, if it's to chill, that's totally different.
Chilling's whatever.
Yeah, but when it's this, I understand that. And the great part is that you can understand with me saying, hey, Jess, I know you have a tendency to kind of get lost in things. Do you have anything else going on
Yeah,
today?
but I can ask you and we
Right.
can communicate that and we understand.
And when you say that to me, I go, oh, Jesse, remember, this is now a target. And so I have to assimilate it with something that I am going after. That's a goal and a strategy, because I'm so competitive that I have to turn it into a positive. So I go, I'm going to be competitive on doing the thing that you like.
Oh.
So I know what you're doing and what you value. And if I know what you value, then I know that my interactions are going to be so much easier, and that we are going to get so much more out of an interaction. And that's why when Kim, dude, she's an expert on relationships. She is one of the best experts I have ever met in relationships, because she doesn't come up with this hokey shit. She just goes, you're different and they're different. You want to do couples therapy? Great. We do it individually. You guys don't get to sit in the same room and bitch and back.
Yeah.
And what they do, she gives them both assignments, then they go, and then they both come back individually and report.
On their assignments and that, yeah.
Dude, it was cool. I met a couple 20 years ago. They came to Kim. They still practice the exact same thing. They
That's
were
cool.
on the verge of divorce. And that's what's really great about it. It's insightful. It's fun. But more on the sense, dude, it's a cheat code for talking to people.
If you can figure out what your shape is. So we'll put a link below.
Yeah, go to 12shapes.com. Pick me as your coach so you don't get the email campaign.
Or if you get an email from him, message him back if you have questions and go, hey, is this my shape? Because, I mean, kind of like we found out today, I might not be
Yeah, just the best way to be able to take that test is to take it like you're in incognito mode, looking at,
Yeah,
what.
that was hard, though. I tried to. I
Yeah.
tried to incognito it and go, like, how would I, like, who is really Brandon?
And then that's the cool part, is that if you don't feel like that, get somebody who's the closest to you and saying, hey, would you take this quiz? It's about me. And I want you to see, like, do you notice these behaviors?
Oh, and see if it does anything different.
It
What
will.
it would show up.
That's
Yeah.
because I've learned, I mean, I became fanatical about it. Like you came about the tax
Yeah.
stuff. And I learned this so fast, it scared the shit out of Kim.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, you mean like this, then this is. And she's just like, yeah, you're an octagon. Like she has me down.
Yeah.
And so it's a really, dude, it's just awesome being that self-aware and knowing that why I get upset. And it's so awesome. The thing is, I just kept going. I'm like, if Brandon's taken it multiple times, and I guess that's what it is, because Brandon's one of the most honest people I know. But the thing is, it's harder to be honest with ourselves. So
Yeah.
there is a reason why. Like,
And I think it is. Like, you try to be honest, but you don't, like, we don't know truly sometimes our driving factors. We know because we don't analyze and look at, well, what was my driving fear or that behind it? And, so, or maybe maybe the book is a great way to do it, because reading through each shape, you might be able to actually go, this shape, actually, I can see way more of me within.
well, and then it's the one sheeter, the crazy thing. Like if you get crazy, like you're just like, I can't make any of this shit work. They have guides, coaches that you can be able to work with that will help you through that process. It's really cool. I've gone through the other course on how to implement all of the like deep steps, almost like one-on-one therapy type stuff.
Okay.
And it's profound. It's really profound. I realized a lot of traumas from my childhood just in the training sessions. I was like, fuck.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And it was just amazing when you listen
Really
to her.
insightful.
Oh, dude, it's super insightful. But you know what? You guys can get all the information about 12 Shapes on the 12 Shapes. Kim has, yeah, I mean,
And Jesse will have a show coming out soon. So
we'll have the link in there. We'll get that built out today. But
And,
anyways,
tune in next week.
yeah, make sure to have some greens.